January 6th, WWE Monday Night Raw, no longer on USA, now a part of the streaming world and Netflix. And with you both, I want to kind of break down what we want to see and what you think we might see now that the landscape has changed for WWE Monday Night Raw. Mark, first of all, you had a lot of big moments on Monday Night Raw on the USA Cable Network. Now it's being streamed on Netflix. What are you expecting to see from Monday Night Raw on Netflix?
Dave, the number one thing is language. And when you have streaming television, you can have more of an adult feel at times. You're not limited to the standards of a regular television network. We're all grown-ups. And I know they won't also have a kid-friendly environment. But I'm looking forward to, like we have Busted Open After Dark, I'm looking forward to seeing Raw After Dark.
Okay, so what you're saying is not like full-blown Attitude Era, but hey, maybe every once in a while, like we see on some of their pay-per-views, maybe a little bit of blood, maybe a little bit of blue language on Monday Night Raw.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's my hope for this streaming and in the new year.
Bully, are you looking for now that the landscape has changed and now that Raw is on Netflix, are you expecting big changes with Monday Night Raw on Netflix?
I don't know what changes to expect, if any, in the beginning. Here's what I will say. I don't know what parameters, guidelines, restrictions the WWE has on the USA Network with Raw. I mean, Lord knows at 10 o'clock when they go off the air now and the next show kicks on, they're dropping F-bombs within the first 10 seconds. I wonder if the WWE could drop F-bombs on their show if they wanted to. What I'd love to see the WWE do is just go a little bit outside their comfort zone on Netflix. I don't think... to my knowledge, WWE did just about whatever they wanted to do on the USA Network, whether that was get overrun time or push the envelope. I don't know if USA ever really said no to the WWE. I think it was more about the WWE. Go ahead, Mark.
There's a couple of places where not only WWE, but AEW and any other entertainment company, they were limited to what they can do by the arenas and city and state ordinances. When you have a streaming show, you can decide now. You don't have to do those towns. You can do the towns where you can do the most.
Okay.
So I can see them doing that in the new year too. Well, you know what? We can't do that in Poughkeepsie. So we're going to go to Detroit where we can set a car on fire in the parking lot.
Understood.
We're going to go to Pennsylvania where we can blow a car up. We're going to go to Houston where we can set fire to something. There's a lot of stuff you can't do in different places. California, you can't burn shit. You try to burn something, blow something up, we're not having it. Same thing with New York State.
I used to burn blunts with Be Real from Cypress Hill over at the Rainbow.
Can you do that on Netflix?
So I'd like to see the WWE go outside of their comfort zone a little bit. I think the WWE has kept the restraints on themselves over the years to stay within that PG, no more than a PG-14 type product. Do I need more cursing? No, not in particularly, but a well-placed curse can put some real emphasis on a line. Do I need more violence? I think the WWE could do violence on USA if they wanted to. I don't know what being on Netflix truly allows the WWE to do that they would not have been allowed to do on USA. I think it's more the WWE keeping the restraints on themselves.
Yeah.
Will the show stay at 2 hours? I certainly hope so, but I will say this. 3 hours I always felt was too long, and 2 hours sometimes doesn't feel like long enough. If the show is 2.5, that could be the sweet spot. I don't know. That could feel long also. At the end of the day, if I had to choose between 2 hours and 3 hours, I'd choose 2. Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel there's a lot here, guys. And I think the word to describe it is the unknown. Like, we really don't know. Is it going to be a strict 2-hour show, a strict 3-hour show, or could we see 1 week it be 2 hours and 10 minutes and the next week be 2 hours and 20 minutes? Like, you know, when I look at a lot of streamed shows, they're not all a certain amount of time. Like, I'll use
cut a time.
Well, yeah, I'll use the example of the TV show Cobra Kai. One episode might be 45 minutes. One episode might be an hour and 5 minutes. There's not a specific time where it needs to be out. And I would think that we're going to see that with Monday Night Raw. The one thing I definitely want to see gone is the holy shit chants being muted. Like, the one thing that just aggravated me is when you have a great moment and you've built up all this momentum where you have fans on their feet chanting holy shit and you decide to mute it.
But wait a minute. If USA will allow an F-bomb at 10 p.m. at night, Eastern time,
Yes.
I'm assuming they would have allowed an F-bomb at 9:59 Eastern.
Yeah, but my
hold on. Do you
okay.
think it's the USA Network bleeping out the holy shit chants, or do you think it's the WWE?
I think it was a certain parameter because of cable TV that the WWE wanted to be a PG product, and they wanted to keep that PG rating. And according to cable guidelines, if there's a certain amount of foul language, you lose that PG rating.
Gotcha.
I think that kind of gets thrown out the window on streaming.
So if they wanted to keep a PG rating on USA, you don't think they're going to want to keep a PG rating on Netflix?
But I don't think it matters. Like, and I could be wrong. I don't think there's a specific guideline where there's a PG rating on Netflix where they could have a holy shit chant and they don't have to worry about losing.
Right. They don't have to blur it out. And Dave,
Yes.
I hope they don't go to 3 hours, because around 2 hours, 15 minutes, I start
nodding off, falling asleep?
I start nodding. I usually try to record it so I can just fast forward through the commercials and stuff. But I'm fine with watching the commercials for 2 hours. But it's that third hour, brother. I don't know if my old man gene kicked in or whatever, but man, I get very narcoleptic at about 10:30.
You'll fall asleep in the middle of a backdrop.
Oh, well, we still working?
I mean, but are there any glaring differences?
What about the women?
What about them?
I've been wanting an all women's wrestling show. There's enough of them, enough of really good quality women. It's about time that they have their own show, and then to compete with the other shows like Glow and what's the Star or something. Like the women at NXT and WWE. You know, shoot, they can hold their own. Have the main events, the starts, everything.
So you're saying are you saying a different show than
a different
Monday Night
show
Raw?
on the network? They just add something to it. I mean, you got a new network to do it, and they gonna want programming.
Yeah, but I think that honestly, Mark, I gotta say, I think that would be a big mistake, and here's why. Because I think they need that star power on Monday Night Raw. If you're gonna have a spin-off show and you take the women off of Monday Night Raw and put them on another show, you're losing a lot of your star power. Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. These are big stars that haven't
not totally, Dave. Not totally. Not to eliminate them from Raw. I'm saying in addition to Raw, a completely different show. Evolution of women, like it's something that the WWE already owns. Evolve, like they have the licensing agreements for those names.
Well, I think, Mark, that brings up another point: is how much more programming are we going to see on Netflix? Right now, it's Monday Night Raw. I don't think there's any news or any plan of having additional live programming on Netflix, because you still have SmackDown on USA. And now they made the announcement that, SmackDown is going to be 3 hours, which to me is a little bit long. I kind of like the 2-hour SmackDown, but USA wants that third hour. So now, since they're going in Raw's place, it seems now that the USA wants that third hour of SmackDown. They want that third hour of pro wrestling programming.
They're more commercial space.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to the 3-hour SmackDown.
Okay,
I don't mind
why?
because I'm so programmed to only a 2-hour SmackDown. Maybe a little bit more will be welcome.
But this brings up another question now. Wait, really quick, is who are we going to see on Raw and who are we going to see on SmackDown? Now that you have in Netflix, they're putting a lot. Now Netflix is obviously available globally. I wonder if we are going to see a major shift of talent to Monday Night Raw, and we're going to see less talent on SmackDown.
When is the draft again? After WrestleMania.
Look at Dave's face. You said
I
draft,
really
and he
don't know.
went.
Yeah, it's after WrestleMania. So I mean, they just did some kind of draft window thing. So
window
The portal.
transfer window or some bullshit like that. Yeah.
hey, I've said this since day one I've came on the show. I'm a big fan of all hands on deck for every show. I'm not a big fan of the split. Netflix is going to be extremely important to the WWE. We'll see what happens. I think that first show will be absolutely off the charts loaded. Today is going to be an absolutely huge day for the WWE and for Netflix. I'm expecting a lot of surprises. I'm expecting tonight they need to let the whole world know that they are on Netflix. For the people who don't know, they need to be talking about it tomorrow. Dave,
Yeah.
like back in the day when we would go to school, if we saw a great concert, the next day we were talking about it in school. Or when we saw Andrew Dice Clay on at Dangerfields on an HBO special, we were all talking about it the next day. Obviously, the WWE universe knows about Netflix. They have to hit such a home run that it's for the people who don't know about it, where everybody's talking about it the next day.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And this product now more than ever is going to be a global product because of Netflix. So I think because of Netflix, the whole game plan of the WWE is what we've been seeing these last couple of years, where you're not just going to see major pay-per-views at certain cities. It's going to be certain countries. It's global now. This product is global, and I think Netflix is definitely a big example of that.
And there's a lot of money to be made outside of the United States.
There's absolutely no doubt. And the other thing is, guys, go ahead, Mark.
Do you think that a lot of the pay-per-views now will be done overseas because of Netflix?
I do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I think definitely.
I mean, I last night on social media, I came across that clip of AJ Styles' entrance and ring announcement in France. Man, I'd love to see more of that. Those ravenous crowds, those South American crowds, those crazy European crowds. That's going to translate amazing on Netflix and on TV.
And don't be surprised if in the near future a WrestleMania is outside of this country as well. Like I really do believe that that's definitely on the horizon. And what that's going to do is bigger business for the WWE when they do shows here in the States. Now it's going to be must see. You're not guaranteed that every couple of months that the WWE is coming to your town. It may just be once a year, if that. So I'm going to be very, very interested to see what happens there. The other thing is the landscape changing with the ratings. You know, we always talked about ratings. Now you got to throw that out the window, even when it comes to AEW, because AEW Dynamite is not just going to be on TBS. It's also going to be streaming on Max. So, like, those numbers are going to be completely different. And there's going to be other metrics of success when it comes to viewership.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to look at, like with the WWE, they will not be on USA anymore for Raw. So you only have the Netflix metric and whatever that is. And I do think there is a way to determine. I think there was one special on Netflix like a year ago where they were able to determine the amount of viewers. What will be interesting is with AEW streaming on Max and how their rating is affected on Wednesday nights. I'll just use Wednesday nights for an example. Let's just say they're doing 600,000 right now. If when Max comes out, is it a slight dip? Is it a drastic dip? Because it'd be pretty safe to say that they're going to experience some type of dip because of the streaming service.
And I actually think it would be significant because I think there's a definitive age group that just doesn't watch cable television anymore.
So you think that there's a lot of people out there, Dave, that are happy about the Max thing so they don't have to watch Dynamite in real time?
Right.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And that brings up
Dave and I are two of those people because we like to fast forward through commercials. But, you know, now you'll be able to do that. But if you want to watch it with the commercials, you can. It's like 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other.
But I think it does bring up something else too. Unless you DVR something, when it's streaming, you don't have to watch it live. It lives. So you may, like, hey, I got to get home for Monday Night Raw. No, I mean, it's streaming. So if I get home at midnight tonight, I'll watch it at midnight. You don't have to watch it live.